Okay, welcome back to another video brought to you by Realms of Forgotten Worlds. I'm your host Albert Taylor, and I would like to show you another video I have prepared. But before that, let's check out the book, since the video is brought to you by Realms of Forgotten Worlds, where your adventure is where you decide, multi-option adventure. Okay, so with 71 decisions, 234 chapters, 70 tragic endings, and one goal, okay, is to stay alive. Alright, so if you like the book, here's a little bit of information on the book. Otherwise, we'll see information about how to make scenes in Unity. Okay, in this version I'm going to be using 4.6.7. Okay, but for all of you using a later version like Unity 5, don't worry, it's pretty much the same menu. So you'll be able to get some useful information out of this as well. Okay, so we're going to be seeing how to make a scene. Okay, now that we got through all the introduction, we're gonna get right down to it. Okay, let's check out Unity. Alright, so all those out there using Unity, we'll just jump into this part here. We're gonna see the scene. Okay, by this point you probably know how to make your scene, your materials, and all that good stuff. You know exactly how long it took you to make the materials. You don't need me here to tell you that. Okay, that was a pain. It was for me. It took me quite a while to make all the materials I'll be needing for this project. Alright, so this is basically what you get here. Alright, those new to Unity, you jumped right to the scene. Alright, once you open a package you get this big grid. Alright, this is actually what I liked about this program. Alright, the big open space. It's like the challenge to fill the space. Alright, this is really cool. Okay, so you have your little compass here. Okay, a lot of you already know that, the Y, X, and Z grids. Okay, alright, so it really doesn't matter where you start. Okay, well, what I do after probably a little bit more than 1 year of trial and error, I go straight to here, an empty object. Okay, this doesn't cause you any problems with draw calls or frames per second. Okay, just an empty object. Just to hold something. You can think of your desk drawer or something. Okay, let's go on empty object. Okay, so after so much trial and error, I usually keep things now at X at 0 degrees, 0 degrees, and 0. Okay, I think everything looks really nice, all lined up. Okay, well there's a reason for that too. Okay, once you get your camera into there, you'd be wanting to reduce your frames per second and your draw calls. Okay, that's the objective, right? Okay, things are a whole lot easier if things are lined up at 0, 0, 0 and progressively upwards. If you have your camera seeing at 300 meters, okay, you probably want to keep your Y to more than 300 meters. Okay, probably 500, just for those angles when the camera just accidentally catches something else that drastically increase your draw calls. Okay, something you probably don't want to do. Just keep your draw calls down as low as possible. Okay, and your frames per second, of course. Alright, so keep everything spaced. Okay, we have our game object at 0, 0, 0. If you click on it, it kind of line you up there. Okay, the first game object I always call area 1. Like any good game, right? Okay, you got your area 1. You can color code it if you want, so you can see it from a distance. Okay, there's our area 1 there. Okay, looks really nice. From that point I make another one, the empty object at 0, 0, 0 as well. And this one I call body. Okay, body. Okay, and there's a reason for that too. I really like designing in Unity. Okay, instead of using probably Blend or a 3DS, I actually design here, which everybody says is a big no-no, but well, in this project it actually worked. Believe it or not. Okay, you have to sacrifice some areas of the project, because you know you make a 3D object instead of like in 3DS when you make only a 2D object. Okay, which you can see only from one side. If you go to the other side, it's invisible. Well, here in Unity, you can see it from all sides, it's a 3D object. Well, that causes some consequences. But for for me, it was a whole lot easier in learning another program. Okay, so we have our area 1 and body, both empty objects, not costing us any frames per second or draw calls. Okay, we got our body. Also like to create another empty object there, also at 0, 0, 0. I call this one details. Okay, for all the details in your scene, want to keep them all organized. Well, first in areas and all your details into details, empty object. Okay, just for the sake of keeping things organized, and also for those who are going to be using occlusion culling. All right, you need your details at some specific diameters. Okay, so things will start disappearing. All right, that's really annoying in occlusion culling. All right, so we have our 3 empty objects here. From this point, we're going to do something really odd. Okay, we're going to create a cube. Okay, all right, scale is 1, 1, 1. After so much trial and error, I found things are really easy if you scale it up to 4.5. Okay, this is one of my personal secrets. Hope some of you will give me thanks one day for this. Okay, 4.5, why that? Okay, 4.5 is easy to snap together. That's right, you can snap all these little blocks together like Legos. You have no spaces in between. That's really good thing. Okay, let's give some color to this block from our pre-made materials. Unity unfortunately doesn't have materials, we have to make these for those new to Unity. Okay, we have our cube, put our cube into body. Okay, our cube's also at 0, 0, 0. Body's at 0, 0, 0. Everything's at 0, 0, 0 as a far. Okay, let's duplicate this cube. Don't want to copy, that's a big no in Unity. Duplicate. Okay, you can see just how easy that is. Snap together and get it close enough. 4.5, exactly on top of the other. Okay, that's really cool, isn't it? Okay, and of course you can get your control button, click the other one, and click these together, and snap another one into place. Okay, that's just a little trick there. Not really relevant to our topic, frames per second and draw calls, but there you go, a little trick there for those who haven't found much help in this area. Probably didn't look hard enough, but I didn't find too much help. See, I go a little bit over 4.5 here, double click and bring it back, 4.5. And you see all these are perfectly snapped together. That's pretty cool, huh? Alright, well, just a little extra there in this topic. Alright, now we see we have our little boxes here. Okay, let's add our camera so we can get a little bit of an idea how this is going to work. Let's move all these here. You see here, if you move all of them at the same time, you don't get the same grid snapping effect. So you have to get 2 that are kind of lateral and move those, and you see you have your grids are moving together now. Okay, 4.5 and 0. Let's select these 2 here and get that 0, and so we have a space here. Let's close in a little bit, see exactly where we're going to round off to, and 9. Okay, well, these are perfectly aligned, no spaces in between. Okay, that's exactly what we want. Now we're going to add a camera so we can kind of see the spacing in our scene, exactly why we need to keep things at a certain space. Let's look for our player. A whole lot easier to look for it this way. Okay, so one of these basic players, I have my custom players here. Let's look for a basic one that you're going to have with Unity. Okay, place a little guy there. Pick him up a little bit so he doesn't fall through the floor. Okay, see here we have a big area here. That's the camera view. Yeah, the big triangle there. Alright, that's not going to help us too much if we have a lot of objects here. Okay, let's check out how big is this area view. So, okay, go to player, click down here, make camera. Alright, So we're seeing that this guy can see 1,000 meters. 1000. Alright, that's not too helpful at all. Well, it wasn't for me. After a year of wondering what I did wrong, then I finally realized, okay, we're just seeing too far. Okay, a reasonable area to see, maybe 300 meters. Okay. Okay, see what that looks like from afar. 300 meters. That's still a pretty good distance, isn't it? Yeah, for all those who are in the military, 300 meters is a M16 range for an accurate shot. Actually, the maximum range. Okay, so we got 300 meters here. Okay. All right, and some areas you can actually adjust this scene by scene, which is the advantage of having different scenes, many scenes if you want. The more the better, actually. You can reduce this to 200 too. Okay, 200 is actually a pretty big area too. Okay, let's check out the problem here with having a really big area. You see, this guy's seeing 200 meters that way, but you got these little corners here. Actually extend a little bit more. Alright, so we have our area 1. Let's make an area 2. Okay, let's put this back at 0, 0, 0. The Y we're going to adjust to go up. Okay, so we can put this at 300, which would be kind of like really close. Logically, it sounds like it would probably be away from the camera, but once you get those little angles, you can kind of get some extra insight into your area too. Okay, what I've been doing lately, probably not too long ago, I've been putting this at 500. Okay, so we got a object here, 500. You can see I have some different objects here in the scene. Just ignore those. Okay, well, once you get space in between your areas, it's a good idea to get some color code too, so you can see where they're all at. Okay, you gotta click between those again to get the screen activated again. Okay, so we have our area 1. Let's see if I can get that back into focus. Okay, area 1. Let's name this area 2. Alright. Alright. I haven't seen this any videos or anything. This is my personal experience. This is what works for me. And I highly recommend well, you do it this way if you're going to make a project that's more or less big. You want to save time. Okay, area 1 at 0 Y distance, area 2 at 500. Okay, let's see what that looks like with the camera in play. Okay, we see that's a pretty safe distance. Okay, it is. Okay, so everything in area 2 you could say is pretty safe away from the side of the camera in area 1. Okay, let's check see, main camera we put at 200. Let's put at 300. If you have some objects or some terrain or something you want to see 300 distance. Alright, 500 is still pretty safe. Alright. Yeah, that's just going to swing that way and that way. So it shouldn't affect area 2. Alright, what does affect are those corners here. So you get things that are off a little bit. You can kind of get a little into the other scenes that drastically raise your draw calls. Okay, let's get out of that there. Just keep everything organized in view. That's really important. Okay, we have our area 2. Double click on that. Okay, create an empty object. Alright, name that body. Body. Okay. Just go on automatic here. It's a whole lot easier. Once you get so much practice. Okay, detail or perhaps details. Okay, it's like body details, area 2. Alright, it's pretty cool. Okay, once we gotten this far, okay, let's go back a little bit because we're going to be working with occlusion culling. Okay, at least at some point. Okay, select cube with shift button, select all your cubes. Okay, see we have static button. What I just do is I just hit all of those. That's the body. It's going to be pretty much all of these. Okay, I'm not too into what each of those means, but well, my project has been working great. Okay, I get all my draw calls in order. Everything with the same material. basically. It doesn't cost you too much more resources. It's the same material. Once you start mixing materials, maybe you have all these cubes a different color, that will cost you some resources. Okay, but as long as it's the same color, let's check that out, what that looks like. Okay, see here we have our stats. I use that a whole lot, so I can see the draw calls and the frames per second. Alright. I got a little error there, out of range. Something didn't go too well, okay. Probably a camera. Okay, so we see our draw calls are only at 11. Alright. I try to keep everything, it's a little tough. Probably around 300, 500, even though maybe 1,000 draw calls is still pretty acceptable. Important thing is the frames per second. See there, it goes around 70, 65, 68. Okay, kind of jumps around. Okay, from what I understand, that's the most important. Although I do keep draw calls for those little bitty video cards integrated on motherboards. Okay, don't want to cost them too much resources. Okay, alright, so we have 11 draw calls. It's really, really good. Let's see if that tell us what's going on here. Okay, I see here. Yeah, we have a cube with a script on it actually. Yeah, see I have for my menu and all that. Okay, well, we can ignore that for now. That's for later video. Every game has to have a menu. This is a really big pain. You want to go on the community looking at how do you patch together a menu. That's going to be really interesting, but don't let that get to you. It's still possible. Okay, so we have all of our textures. We have our area 1 put together. Let's go to our body, repeat the previous process. Got a cube. Okay, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. Okay. Alright, let's change up the material maybe. Maybe something like that. Maybe something a little darker. Okay. We got our lights turned off, but that is kind of dark. Okay. Just check again if your cube's at a 0, 500, 0. The same as area 2, 0, 500, 0. So that's cool. Because once you put into body, it's going to change coordinates. It's going to go to 0, 0, 0. Okay, so you got to make sure it's aligned before you put into your empty object. It's going to change the coordinates. It's a really handy trick once you're working with animations. Alright, you got a 0, 0, 0. Move that, Control Z, okay, it's locked into place. Duplicate it. Okay, that's what I usually do. Duplicate. Just really easy to snap all this into place. Those will be here hours and hours aligning things together. See how easy that is? Actually, I wasn't part of the video, but maybe this will help somebody out. Okay, lock that into place there. See, I have a little habit here. Once I get it locked into place, I move it and I do a Control Z just to make sure it's all aligned and everything. Just for the sake of if I'm going to add properties, it all takes effect. Or if I'm going to duplicate, it duplicates. That's a really handy habit. Move and Control Z, move and Control Z. More the better. Let's do it more and more. Okay, so again, we didn't do our properties here for occlusion culling, which is another handy habit to do right away. If you duplicate the first one, then all of them have the same properties. Okay, so just select them all. Okay. Alright, hope this is really handy. And we're going to be making another video how to respawn. Put up the script there so that it helps somebody out. And don't forget always save scenes. Okay, that's a really good handy tip there. Yeah, because sometimes the power goes out or something, and Unity is really sensitive. You can lose a lot of days of work. Okay, so we always be saving, save scene, save project, and of course backup. because if things get bad, then you have a backup. Okay, that's kind of obvious, but yeah, it could be useful nonetheless. Okay, now we see here I changed out the player. I was getting an error message, is really annoying. So like in red letters at the bottom. Okay, so I changed out to my model player. Alright, so the message went away. Okay, so but now it's time to show off the book a little bit. It's a book game for those who haven't seen previous videos. Making a book into a game is actually something unheard of. I think it's the first one, maybe. Okay, so we're gonna check out the book. Okay, it's kind of like an example of what I did. Okay, let's go from credits. Let's see, maybe another scene here. So I have everything organized in folders. See that? Folders, the different areas of the book that have my scenes. See, there's quite a few. After so much trial and error, I found out that if you really saturate a scene, it's really counterproductive. So you want to have many scenes that we can have many details. And it won't affect your frames per second. Okay, actually I had to do that for a pretty long time, breaking up scenes into different scenes or many other scenes. One scene could be maybe 2 scenes. Okay, just so I don't have to sacrifice all the details. Okay, let's get straight into the copyright info. Okay, since Unity is responsible, this game engine, we're going to give props to Unity. Okay, thanks a lot, Unity. Okay, well, before all that, yeah, we have the title of the book, written by me, published by me, art and story by me, and okay, my wife there, technical support. Okay, so I click there, have a little animation that brings in the continue button, click on that, takes you to the next scene. Alright, thank you Unity again, for all those Unity people watching. Alright, really great 3D engine. Okay, so automatically goes in, animation comes up and transfers the player to this scene here. These are all different scenes with animations. And you can see here the draw calls, 85 frames per second. Actually the best, what I've studied so far, is keeping around 70, 60, 50 is okay with what I learned, but you want to keep it around there. I think for Android applications and stuff like that, you want to keep it above 60. Okay, but this is a more PC based application, so 50 I guess is okay. Some scenes actually go down all the way to 50, but I think that's acceptable now. Not running on Android, not yet anyway. Okay, so we have a little menu here you can see. Again, Realms of Forgotten Worlds. That's my childhood project from 12 years old, coming to life now. Alright, so we have a credits area, scene select, start story. Okay, we can basically just, for this tutorial's sake, just go right into start story. Okay, there's a little time in between scenes. Yeah, okay, there we go. Before you start getting worried. Okay, so we see we have a lot of detail here. So we jumped up to draw calls 230, 250. That's because some light scripts. See our frames per second is 46, 51. It's jumping up and down. Yeah, that's because of all the details. I have a lot of shadows and stuff like that affecting draw calls. Actually, what's affecting here the frames per second, I think, is both script and animation. But again, since I'm basing on a PC game, I think 50 frames per second is okay. Okay, I kind of want to. This is the very first scene, so I didn't want to have it too light. For those who are really into games, are gonna be affected by this first scene. So I have a lot of shaders, you see, reflections, lights. Okay, actually in the scene, this is where you select your chapters. Okay, so we have some stuff in here that are affecting frames per second as well. Some shadows, animations. Okay, so let's just check one of these scenes here. Well, chapters, I mean. Okay, one of these here, at least from the past. Okay. So here's basically in the books, here's where we have the text, the first chapter, Allies from the Past. Make another video where I actually read this. So I had an automatic voice and I have too many good comments about that. So I'll be reading the next video. I'll be reading out some chapters so people can see what the book's about. Okay, you can see there's quite a few animations actually in here. Okay, these are repeat animations. Make a model, repeat the model again and again and again for each chapter. Okay, let's go through there really quick. A lot of shaders. You see they have the water effect. That's pretty cool. That's kind of accidental getting that kind of texture, but it worked out pretty nice. Okay, so we're jumping around a lot. I'll throw up the script. That's called a respawn. That's a game script. That's like essential. Surprising Unity didn't have that built in already, but I'll include that later in the next video. Respawn. Anybody doing a project like this is gonna definitely need a respawn script. Okay, so we're respawning every every corner of the game. Okay, actually the secret to keeping draw calls down too. Keep things spaced out. Spawn scripts transporting you to area to area. Yeah, keep the draw calls down. You see we only have 117 draw calls. Actually I have only 2 pages per area. Area is separated 300 meters. So when you respawn, you're 300 meters away. So the camera doesn't get affected. See that? 22 draw calls. Oh, but our frames per second did drop quite a bit. 32, 29. Well, I gotta check that later on to see what's going on there. Okay. That shouldn't be going down that fast. Okay. Alright, see our draw calls? Well, at least our draw calls are pretty good. Gotta work on the frames per second. Okay. Respawning, respawning. There are middle scenes, animations. Okay, see that's pretty cool. A lot of shaders taking up resources. Alright. So maybe a little spoiler here into the book, even though this isn't the first video into that. Here's the menu we saw before. Really simple menu, patched together from some others. Okay, so we have our basic restart button. You can exit if you're not into reading anymore. Saying select if you want to go to a different scene, which actually be a different part of the book. Well, in an actual book this would be the chapter select. See, we're respawning a lot. Actually for scenes it's a totally different script. It's a JavaScript that takes you between scenes. Well, I put the name of Trans Collider. Okay, it's basically a box collider. You activate the script and it transports you in between scenes. Okay, actually that's another thing you probably want to take into account. Your build settings. Okay, you have to have all your scenes into the build. So you have quite a few scenes in the build, but if they're not here, they won't transport you. Okay, if you want to take note of that, that's really important. Okay, a really good tip here. If you like that, you can click the like button. Okay, so you have to have your scenes in the build. How do you do that? Once you're in your scene, add current. Click that and it adds your scene here. See, copyright info is our very first scene, scene 0. Okay, once you have it here, you can add the script, which I'll include later on, and you can transport in between scenes. Okay, which is really good tip. Okay, let's go through here again, see if we didn't skip anything. Okay, props to Unity, thanks again. You see, have that animation set to a few seconds. Okay, scene select. Okay, scene select is actually the chapters, as I mentioned before, right? Okay, let's actually see the chapters. Those of you interested, how do you make a book chapter, a chapter select in a game? That's pretty tricky. Okay, well, now that the book's finished, I can give away that. That was a big, highly guarded secret. Okay, this is how I did it. Okay, did it by areas. Okay, the different parts of the book, really separate from chapters. Okay, I have a brown area, light blue area, green area, yellow area, black area, red area. Okay, some areas here really don't have anything. Let's go back to credits. Virtual world, purple area and dark blue area. Well, this one's kind of dramatic. We'll go here. Okay, so that's all JavaScript that changes you from one scene to another. Okay, this is a totally different scene. You can see here dark blue area, area 7. This changes every area so the person doesn't get too disoriented. Well, they probably will just a little bit until they get used to the changing of scenes. Okay, a lot of animation here, shaders. Okay, check out our draw calls. It's not too bad. 72, 68, 65. The draw calls only going to 300. It's kind of my objective, just keep on 300. Okay, transport there. You go to the text. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, if you think it's cool, hit the like button. Okay, it's a really short chapter. See, here is a poor choice in the book. Some bad decisions go here. You get compressed. Yeah, really bad decision. Okay, I had to keep that dramatic. Okay, damage effect there. It's animation. And change scene. Okay, this is an in-between scene to represent a bad choice. Okay, that basically takes you back to scene select. Okay, so the draw calls, frame per second. Okay, still under control. Okay, that's the kind of idea. So once you start testing this out on smaller computers, because here it's running fine. I have an i3 processor with 12 gigabytes of RAM. This is working really, really good. But once you get on a smaller computer, that's when you find some problems. You find the transfer between scenes isn't as fluid as it is here. Let's see if we can find an example of that. So in between, I made some scenes. Okay, I have empty scenes actually. Just a scene with a script that kind of lets the other scene load while you're in that empty scene. See if I can find an example of that. Okay, here's another chapter select by area. Okay, this will take us directly to the scene. See here, there's no lag or anything. But once you start testing on a smaller computer, there is. Even the message stopped responding. Which is something you probably want to avoid. Somebody just click out if they see that. Okay. Alright, so draw calls. See, we still have the light, we have shadows and stuff like that. But since we have the draw calls and everything with the occlusion culling, everything selected, you can keep the draw calls down pretty low. Frames per second high, which is what you want. See, there's quite a few animations and scripts. You gotta be careful with the scripts because those bring your draw calls down. Okay, so in the book we have a place where you can get reoriented. This is the idea of this scene here. Okay, just a little map of the area and a bigger map of the whole area. You can kind of see we're kind of up in this upper portion here. Okay, so it's kind of a spoiler so you can make better decisions. But it's basic for people who get really desperate and get disoriented and they want to find the way, I don't know, to a better ending. So you can check out these maps and see where to go. Okay, so once you get oriented, go down the elevator, you just basically get out of there. Okay, of course a tutorial. Every good game has to have a tutorial, right? Okay. I see the draw calls and frames per second are really, really good. Okay, so that's basically the idea. Well, to see frames per second and draw calls, that's a pretty good example. That's my project Right now I'm in the process of reviewing it, finding all the errors and frames per second. Okay, like I did a while ago, the very first scene. Don't want the frames per second really dropping to 30 frames per second. Understand that's the very bottom. Okay, so probably go back in there and find any animations, maybe something I could take out. Not keep it too simple, but not too heavy. Okay, and just keep everything flowing nicely for people who want to see something on a basic computer. Alright, so to mention, if you have any questions or any ideas for future videos, please put it down there in the video description, comments, click the like button if you like the video, and I hope to see you next video. Alright, thanks for watching, and hope to see you later.